I had a customer complain about one of our parking lot striping jobs, and in this video, we're talking about it. The other day, I was finishing up a parking lot striping job. It was a car lot with part concrete and part asphalt parking, which really wasn't a big deal. It was about a $1,200 job that we actually got off of our Google business profile. This customer actually has multiple properties. We were finishing up the last property on the list that this customer gave me. Once we got done with the work, I went inside to go and tell them that we're finished and that I'd like to get a check. After I got done, the person that I usually deal with wasn't there. Since he wasn't there, I guess his secretary came out and said that she wanted to examine the work before we got paid, which is understandable because I wouldn't want to pay somebody else either if I wasn't able to examine the work that they had done, because contractors are shady. So she went out there to go and look at the work. Since the parking lot was concrete and part asphalt, the areas on which we striped that were asphalt had dips in the surface. Well, you and I both know that when we're striping on asphalt surfaces that are not completely flat, there are going to be deviations in the line quality affecting the pattern. It's not going to look as straight as it could be since it's not on concrete. The concrete portion of the project looked great because the concrete had a consistent surface. Well, she goes and looks at the asphalt parking, and to be honest, I was kind of uncomfortable with it anyways because it did look wavy, but there's not really much that you can do. Well, then after she comes and talks to us about it, she wants to know, why does the surface of the ground on the concrete, why do those stripes look consistent, but the ones that were done on the surface of the asphalt, why do those look inconsistent? Then we educated the customer and told her that depending upon the surface and how smooth it is will determine the quality of the line. And quite frankly, I don't think that she was able to understand what we were talking about. I thought for a split second that this lady was going to be a significant problem. She was not happy that the lines on the asphalt were wavy, and I can understand that from the perspective of the property owner. So we waited there a little bit as she's continuing to look at the lines. She calls the guy that I had been dealing with in the beginning who gave us multiple properties to stripe in the first place. He pulls up on the lot and then takes one look at it and says, "Guys, looks great, no big deal." We can learn that depending upon the surface of the ground will determine the consistency of the lines. And when you're dealing with customers, you have to understand that they're not going to have a good understanding of the finished product like you will, because they don't do this every day. And it's really good for you to actually include these things within your customer contract or terms and conditions. And if you guys are actually looking for a starting point as it pertains to a customer contract, within the How to Stripe course, there's actually an option for you to get a customer contract, change order, and certificate of completion to have that legal documentation in place to help you when situations like this occur. That helps me as a business owner because I can include those things in my terms and conditions, that there's an expectation that's set up front with the customer. If the ground is uneven, there's going to be inconsistencies within the line patterns. And it's important as the service provider to educate the customer so that they have an understanding that when you perform the work and then get finished, when they look at the work, they're not going to try to come back on you and then not pay you for the work. This was a $1,200 job that took us about 2.5 hours. It cost almost $300 in paint to complete the job. So you can imagine being out $300 in paint, $200 in labor. It costs you $500 to do it. You're making $1,200. So you can imagine buying the supplies, having the labor performed, and then the customer trying not to pay you. You can see where this could be a problem as a business owner. Luckily, the customer was not a Kevin. We got paid. Everything went good. Now, moving forward, I will include these things in my terms and conditions. That way, when they accept the estimate, they'll know, depending upon the surface of the ground, will determine the line quality. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out How to Stripe. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell icon. That way you can be notified anytime we release some new content, and we will see you in the next video.